Okay, I've got my paper all set up. I'm ready to start drawing. Let's get a little closer. So I'm gonna start up at change pressure. And pressure just means how hard or how light you're pressing down your pencil on the paper. So for light, I'm gonna fill the entire square with a very light value. And I'm not pushing down hard at all. I'm pushing down very lightly. And I'm going to fill that whole square, okay? I'll come back to that later. For medium, I'm going to push down my pencil a little bit harder for a medium pressure. And again, I'm gonna fill up the whole square. It's not a race, okay? I shouldn't see very much white space left over when I'm done. For heavy pressure, I'm going to push down much harder. There we go. And the harder I push down, the darker value my pencil makes. All right, I'm gonna fill all these in. Okay, I did my 3 pressures, light, medium, and heavy. And I filled in the whole square so it has a nice smooth color to it. It's not lighter up here and darker down here. My medium is all one value, my light is all one value, and my heavy is all one value. Now I'm going to do cross-hatching. So cross-hatching is when we color in a space, but we use little lines, and we can go back and forth in different directions. So I'm just gonna do the right side and kind of make it look like there's a shadow on the right side. So I'm gonna add my lines going this way first. Remember, this is light, so I'm not doing too many lines. And then I'll cross hatch the other way. So cross hatching means crisscross lines. There we go. It kind of looks like there's a shadow on this side of the box. Now we're going to do the same thing, cross hatching. That means crisscrossing lines back and forth, but I'm going to do it a medium amount this time. So that means I'm going to have to add a lot more little lines. So maybe something like this. Oh yeah, that's definitely heavier than the light. So I'm going to add a bunch of lines going one direction. Maybe I'll add some more on the edge so the edge looks really dark. And then I can cross hatch the other direction. I go really fast, but you can go nice and slow. So see how this is a light cross hatching and this is a medium cross hatching? There's a lot more little lines in there and a lot more detail in there. Now for heavy, we're gonna have to add a lot of lines. So this will take me a little bit longer. Now I'm ready for stippling. So I'm gonna kind of do the same thing I did on the box where I'm only gonna do the edge to kind of give it a shadow. So stippling is coloring in an area but using only dots. So this one takes some patience, okay? I suggest that you don't rush and just take your time because it does take time, okay? So what I will do is I will add some dots around the side. And then after I've kind of mapped out where I'm gonna have my darker value, then I can go in and add more dots. So on the edge, I'm gonna add a lot of dots. I added lots and lots of dots. Took me a little while. Takes some time and some patience. But I added a lot of dots on the edge and they get lighter and lighter as we move to the middle. And it kind of gives the illusion that this is like a ball and this is a shadow underneath. For scumbling, scumbling is a way to add value or add color to a drawing, but with more of kind of like a scribbly technique. I think of it as kind of like little swirls or little scribbles. So what I do is I'm gonna draw really light, and I'm gonna add little swirls. Same thing, just on the side of my circle. So I do a really light coat first of pencil. It's like a very careful scribbling, okay? I'm really planning what I'm doing. All right, so now this side is filled up with very, very light scribbles. Now I'm gonna add some heavier scribbles towards the edge, like this. There we go. Now it's starting to look like a 3D ball versus a flat circle. So I'm adding heavier, darker scribbles. And then on the very, very close edge, I'll get really dark and I'll scumble away. I actually use scumbling a lot when I draw. I did it lighter towards the middle and darker towards the edge. And I just did little swirls and scribbles to fill in my space. Shading is typically more of a back and forth motion for adding color and value to a shape. So it's a little back and forth motion, which is probably the most common of all of these. So I'm going to add a lighter amount of shading towards the middle. And then as I get to the side, I'm going to make it a little darker. See how I'm using harder pressure with my pencil? And then when I get closer to the edge, I'll get a little darker, a little heavier with my pencil pressure. And then on the edge, I'm going to get really dark with my pencil pressure. Oh, for smudging, I'm going to do a shading technique, and then I'm going to smudge it with my finger, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing here, where I add some light shading towards the middle. Then I can get darker as I move to the side. All right, now here's the fun part. Get your finger ready. And what you're going to do is, I'm not smudging in the area that's white. I'm just smudging in the area that I colored. So the oils that are naturally on your finger, if you touch your finger, it's like a little bit moist. It's because you have oils in your skin. So the oils in your finger are gonna help smudge this pencil around. So what I do is I just take my finger and I push kind of hard, actually. So I'm gonna rub my finger kind of in a back and forth motion, and I start to smudge my pencil. So now it has a nice soft quality, and those pencil lines kind of just start to disappear. Now, I'm kind of wishing that I had a darker edge. So what I can do now is, after I've even smudged, my finger's all pencil-y now. After I smudged, I can go in and add more dark value. So I'll add more pencil. And then I can smudge again. So now I have more dark value. Now I'm going to, my pencil looks kind of shiny. I'm going to turn my paper. There we go. Now I'm going to smudge again. So you can keep adding pencil and then smudging again. Okay, textures and patterns. Awesome. So I'm going to use a pencil to make some different textures and patterns. If you have different textures and patterns you're thinking of in your head, go ahead and do those, but I'm going to give you some suggestions. So I'm going to try doing like a brick texture, like a brick wall in this area. So I'm going to add some lines going across. And then what I do is I'm going to add a little line here and a little line here. So now I have 3 bricks. And then above this rectangle, I'm going to add a line. Above this rectangle, I'm going to add a line. Above this rectangle, I'm going to add a line. Then I can do this same line up here. I'll do this same line up here. I'll do this same line up here. I'll do this same line up here. Okay, so now I have my bricks. And what you can do is you can give the sides of your bricks a little bit of darkness and a little bit of shading if you'd like. So I'll add the left side of my brick, add some darkness, add some shading. Now I'm going to do a wood texture. So I'm going to add 2 lines again. They're a little bit more spread out than the bricks. And then I will add, a split in the wood there, maybe a split in the wood here. And what I can do is I can add some little nails to the end near where I split it. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll add some little nails here. And what you can do is you can add really light lines to give it a wood texture. I even like to kind of do a swirl sometimes because wood really does have swirls in the wood. So I could do a swirl up here and add some light lines. And texture really is just drawing something that you can actually imagine what it feels like. So I can imagine what this feels like. I can imagine what this feels like. I'm going to do patterns this time. So I think I'll do some little short lines. It kind of reminds me of cross-hatching. I'm going to go in different directions and fill in my space with just some little areas of line. Down here, I'm just doing a spiral pattern. So I start in the middle and I work my way out. Start in the middle and I work my way out. And I'm going to fill up my space like that. All right, everybody, I am done doing my pencil techniques. I've changed pressure from light, medium, and heavy. I've done cross-hatching, light, medium, and heavy. I've done stippling, which is adding value with dots. I've done scumbling, which is adding value with little swirls and scribbles. I've done shading, which is kind of more of a back and forth motion. Smudging, I used the oils on my finger to smudge the lead of the pencil and give it a soft look. I've added some textures, so like a pattern that I can actually imagine what it feels like. And then I've done some other patterns here with little lines and some spirals. So really the key is to take your time. If you are someone that has a hard time coloring one space for a long time, then maybe take a break and come back. You don't have to do it all in one sitting. You can go take a break. You can come back and finish. Okay? It's not a race. Take your time and send me a photo on Google Classroom.